Max Verstappen won the Las Vegas GP in a boring but dominant race in Nevada, Las Vegas. The biggest excitement we got as fans was after the race. Both Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri's cars were checked by the FIA after the race, and after waiting for ages, the news came out that they were disqualified. This has a huge impact on the title battle, as Max Verstappen is within 24 points of the championship leader now. So what does this mean for the last 2 weekends? And what does it mean for Max Verstappen and his 5th title? As I said before, the race was a pretty dull affair. Lap 1 was the highlight of the race, where Lando Norris started on pole, got away a fraction slower than Max Verstappen in P2 and cut him off abruptly. Verstappen veered to the right to take turn 1 properly and saw Lando Norris bottle turn 1. He came in with too much speed, locked up and went off track. He was passed by Verstappen and Russell, who started in P4. Verstappen stayed in the lead, and 2 virtual safety cars later, a 3-second pit stop later, and 50 uneventful laps later, he finished the race as the winner. This was nice, but it didn't change the championship much, with Norris in P2. Those 7 points weren't going to bring Verstappen close enough to cause a threat, with 2 races to go and a sprint race still to go. However, during the last phase of the race, Norris was dealing with certain undisclosed issues. We thought it was a fuel issue, where they had to save fuel to make sure they provided the sample after the race to the FIA. As it turned out, the issue was plank wear. After the celebrations, which were funny but also pretty cringe, as we are used to by now in the States, we heard that the McLaren garage was locked up and both cars were being inspected. I was logged in on Twitter and kept refreshing every minute to hear the slam dunk news, but it took ages and ages. Therefore I decided to go to the gym to kill some time. That's where I read the news. Both McLaren cars were disqualified for extensive plank wear. Lando Norris didn't score 18 points, he scored no points. Oscar Piastri didn't score 12 points, he also scored no points. McLaren tried to make excuses and said it was due to lack of practice time and unexpected porpoising, but the rules are the rules. This makes everything look very different for the championship. Here's me making all these videos about accepting Max's fate and being proud of him, how he performed this season, and then this happens. Usually I hate being wrong, but in this case I don't mind. The last 2 weekends will be nail-biters this way, and seeing how the momentum has shifted in one big blow, I fancy Max's chances a lot higher now. So let's have a look at that, shall we? Right, so before the disqualification of Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, the standings for the top 3 were as follows. P1 Norris 408, P2 Piastri 378, P3 Verstappen 366. So Norris had a 30-point lead on his teammate who has lost any form lately, and 42 points on Verstappen, who is solid as always. This was nothing to worry about for Lando Norris, and I bet he was silently celebrating already. He was in a great mood after the race, laughing and joking with Verstappen and Russell, who did nothing and finished P3 as usual. One remarkable moment was when Lando Norris said live on TV that he f***ed up just before Disney did a fountain show. I wonder if he'll get into trouble for that. Probably not, because they usually save these things for Verstappen. Before the penalty was handed out, Lando Norris would win the championship in Qatar the next weekend, as long as he didn't lose 5 points to Piastri or didn't lose 17 points to Verstappen. A little later, the news was being reported about the incoming penalty, which was given quite a long wait. Now, after the penalty was given, the standings look like this. P1 Norris 390, P2 Piastri 366, P3 Verstappen 366 with 58 points still for grabs. This makes the calculations a lot simpler, and it's still not bad for Lando Norris, to be honest. If Norris outscores Piastri and Verstappen by 2 points in Qatar, he becomes champion. That seems simple enough. However, Max Verstappen has been on a rampage lately. Well, lately, since Zandvoort really. Since the Dutch GP, Max Verstappen has gained 104 points on Piastri and 46 points on Norris. Max Verstappen has been working with Laurent Mekies, and the car is still tricky to set up, but they get it done more often now. the pressure for the championship is ramping up yet again, and everything that has happened hasn't made it any easier for the Papaya team, who have screwed the pooch quite a lot this season. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy they did. It's just that if Red Bull or Mercedes had the MCL39, both championships would have been in the bag already. The implications of this weekend go beyond just the difference in points. There's a lot more going on. Let's start with a little bit of technical stuff, as far as I understand it. F1 cars have a plank since 1994 to prevent them from riding too low and getting too fast. During the ground effect era, the plank became an item again, because with these regs, the lower car rides, the better the effect is. We've seen Lewis Hamilton disqualified this season, and Hülkenberg as well, for the same reason as both McLaren's cars were punished. The plank is 10mm and needs to be at least 9mm at the end of the race. McLaren's planks were both below 9mm. During the free practice sessions, they didn't receive enough information to set the car up at a safe ride height, or so they claim. What's interesting is that rumours were circulating after the Brazilian Grand Prix that the FIA had put a stop to certain teams using skid blocks made of a specific metal that shrunk and expanded depending on the heat. And what do you know? McLaren gets into trouble for their plank wear. Now, before I get all kinds of angry comments, this is a quick explanation, and my video isn't about the technical side of the situation. The only thing I see as a benefit is that McLaren will be extra careful the next 2 weekends not to get into trouble again. This will cost them performance. Performance they need to bring the Drivers' Championship home. This effect could even be bigger if they were one of the teams that were told to use different skid blocks. McLaren has made it very hard on themselves with all the mistakes they have made and the strange ways they have handled things. From the outside, things look harmonious, and CEO Zak Brown and team principal Andrea Stella are doing interviews and podcasts weekly. Whether it's with F1 themselves, or the High Performance podcast, or their friends from the race visiting them in Woking, they love the limelight. And their PR game is rock solid. Well, on that end anyway. On social media, McLaren has replaced Red Bull as enemy number 1. All F1 fans are gathered in hating McLaren. That's just what happens when you have success. I'm sure they don't mind. This hiccup is another biggie, to be honest. It's bigger than Oscar Piastri accidentally posting a quote from Bernie Ecclestone on Instagram. He said he wasn't aware of it. Right. This comes at a time when Piastri has seemingly lost his ability to drive fast, and Norris has a clear advantage. Evil tongues say that McLaren has purposely developed the car in Norris's direction, and that's why Piastri dropped off. This would suit McLaren, as Adam Norris and his investment group were very important for McLaren in the last 7 years. And Norris was secretly their number 1 driver, even if they said they had 2 number 1s. I want to make clear that it's not me who's saying this. They said it. They talk a lot, don't they? I also heard today that Norris was told to lift and coast for an issue, but nobody told Piastri anything. It's like they didn't care if he got into trouble. What do you think? If you add up all the points they have lost by slow pit stops, technical DNFs, team orders and other shenanigans, it's pretty clear that McLaren isn't really a serious team yet. Something you have to be when Max Verstappen is chasing you. Zak Brown said a few choice words about Max not so long ago, and then later phoned Max to say he didn't mean it. Like I said, not serious. They have put themselves in a situation where Max Verstappen thrives, with the help of his team. So we need to have a word about how this will possibly play out. Qatar and Abu Dhabi are the last 2 races on the calendar in this long Formula 1 season. 2 colourless tracks in the desert. But some spectacular things have happened there. Last year, Max Verstappen won there after his famous tiff with George Russell. It's the race where Russell screwed Max into a 1-plate grid penalty during quali, and Verstappen was pissed off and won the race by a mile. That weekend also has a sprint, so little practice with 1 session, and then qualifying and the sprint, qualifying again and another race. Both Verstappen and Piastri did well there, so I see them taking points off Norris. Ideally, Norris will score a few points in the sprint and finish not higher than P3 in the main race. In Abu Dhabi, with maximum pressure, there is a chance he will bottle it one way or another. With the McLaren car losing a bit of its edge due to the right height their drivers might be beaten in qualifying by Leclerc and the two Mercedes drivers. I would also like to point out that Verstappen has a fresher engine. Maybe McLaren needs a new engine too. It's all in the details. Overtaking is hard on these tracks, especially if you're not a decisive overtaker in the first place. Max Verstappen's chances of winning this championship have shot up immensely thanks to the Las Vegas weekend. I honestly didn't believe it was possible anymore, but Max Verstappen is back in business. If you subscribe, you're back in business. Take care now. Doei doei.